XRP holders, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Let's waste no more time and analyze together and understand what is happening with XRP right now as of recording this update going into Monday morning. Looking across the board, broader market is up right now, feeling a lot of love. A lot of altcoins are actually, doing quite well right now. XRP, as far as the price is concerned, look at it for yourself, guys, above the $2.90 range, which we've been discussing over the course of the last few updates, and the price has been able to reclaim back up to that range quite fast. Currently up about 3.2% in USD and up 2.4% in Bitcoin. Comparative market cap 174 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $5.1 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So take a look at this. Bitcoin whales dumped 115,000 Bitcoin worth 12.7 billion last month in their biggest sell-off since mid-2022, signaling intense risk aversion among large investors per crypto quant. But let me tell you, the overall demand right now for Bitcoin is way too high, regardless of whales, dumping the price of Bitcoin. The demand factor is just way too high, in my opinion. And that is something we want to kind of keep in mind as we do look at this. But do let me know in the comments down below. But also, one key takeaway from this specific thing is, people tend to think, oh, the 4-year cycle is done, this and that, yada, yada, yada. You need to stick with your exit strategy, because every single time during times like this, where historically speaking the market is closer to the end, then you start seeing articles coming in, this time's different, this and that. I've been quite clear on my personal take. I think we're not going to see as extensive of a bear market for some of these utility projects. That's my opinion, and especially the ones that have that ETF. That's my personal projection. I still think bear market is going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be as extensive as we have seen in the past. Because one thing that we can say now, without a doubt, is what never was in the past was regulatory clarity, mass adoption, institutional interest, governments paying attention to the crypto markets. We never saw that before, but that has changed this time around, which is an argument that could be made. But I still think 99.8% of the broader market is still going to be impacted with the bear market, because it just makes sense. I don't see the broader market just continuing to go towards the upside. It just doesn't make sense. But I do personally still believe Q4 is going to be a really positive, quarter for crypto. I think maybe we might see, January or February playing out. Might see a couple of fake outs around there, but I do personally project sometime, in Q4. I'm still sticking to the historic price pattern. Should be the top for the market. And unless, of course, Donald Trump or we hear some crazy news that comes out, which, just signals we're about to see a major super cycle. We'll see what happens, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. But enough with that rant. Let's take a look at this. September rate cut odds have surged to 100%. So pretty much now the market is thinking, like, literally it's going to be set in stone that this rate cut is going to happen. Let me know down below what you guys think. In terms of the prices of the broader market, if you guys kind of go back to my August updates, I was talking to you guys about how market was kind of pricing itself in when price of Bitcoin hit an all-time high, but we did see a major retracement since then. So is the market really going to start heading now as we are starting off this week? Next week is where the FOMC meeting takes place. So are we really going to see the market really hovering towards the upside, slowly gradually increasing and going into this bullish trajectory leading into the FOMC meeting in the day of or the day before we do see a pullback potentially? We'll see what happens. Keep an eye out on Bitcoin, but take a look at this. The Fed is about to join the global rate cut cycle. There have now been 88 rate cuts worldwide year to date, the most since 2020. This puts 2025 on track for the third fastest global cutting cycle on record, according to B of A. The European Central Bank and the Bank of England have cut rates 4 and 3 times this year, respectively. That's insane. The Bank of Canada has cut rates 2 times, and the Swiss National Bank, which became the first major central bank to bring rates back down to 0%. Oh my gosh, that is insane. And then, meanwhile, the Federal Reserve remains on hold with zero rate cut in 2025. U.S. monetary policy is in its own world. And that is, I think, about to change. But we'll take a look at this. Speaking about that super cycle, right? Look at this. Trump's proposal to remove taxes on U.S.-based cryptocurrencies such as XRP may attract significant capital inflows into the American markets, without a doubt. And this is something we've been talking about since late last year when this original thing kind of came out and these rumors were flying around. Of course, this is not set in stone, but if Donald Trump comes out and says, these specific US-based projects are tax exempt, so whatever capital gains you earn off of it, it's going to be tax-free. That is going to unlock a major upside for, the US-based utility projects, in my opinion. Because let's think about it. People that are in the US, they're going to be attracted to this. People maybe even globally are going to be attracted to it, even though it doesn't really apply. Maybe they still have to pay taxes within their jurisdictions. I don't know which one. I'm just talking in a general term. But U.S. residents could really impact by this massively, and we could see billions of dollars flowing in from other investments into these assets, and this would be one of the major catalysts behind super cycle or not. But again, I don't think this is going to have an impact on the entire market, going back to what I said earlier as well. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. But look at this, a continuous reminder: 30-day XRP balance changes off of the exchanges. And I like that. Get your XRP off of the exchanges and self-custody. I totally agree with that. If you're in for the long haul, and even if you're for the short term, take your money off of the exchanges. Very important. And I'm sure you guys know many examples of that. But look at the major decline in the XRPs being removed. That means people are self-custodying their XRP. And that just shows you that there is less and less XRP on the exchanges. And when the heat comes up, the momentum picks up. Remember, supply and demand, basic rule. This is very interesting to note. Do let me know your personal thoughts on that. But let's take a look at the price of XRP, going into Monday morning. If you're looking at the dominance, sitting at 58.5%. Obviously still really low from where we were back in the beginning of July. Bitcoin has broken up to $112,000 right now. Amazing to see. Of course, we're retesting the key resistance I've spoken to you guys about before on the channel. We want to see this resistance breaking out. If it's able to do that, I'm still projecting. I think we could actually push up to the $113,000 even today if it's able to maintain its price above here. And after that, the confirmation that we have for ourselves at the 115 could, I think, be realistically, be the next target to be looking out for after that. But look at the way XRP is moving, and the price of the price of Bitcoin is nowhere near its all-time high right now. Yes, we're in the 23.6, but take a look at this. We still have an 11% increase for Bitcoin to retest its all-time high, and yet XRP is sitting at $2.93. What have I spoken to you guys about on the channel over the last few days? I was talking to you guys about, once the momentum kicks in, do expect XRP to move much quicker than you think, and that's exactly what we're seeing happening. XRP sitting at almost $2.94, and since September the 6th, we're looking at an increase of about 5. And we're pretty much on our way to the $3 key resistance, which we haven't been above this whole month. Since the start of September, so 8 days, we have not been above this key range. Obviously, it's a little bit over 8 days since the price was above $3 key range, but I'm pretty much just only specifically talking about the month of September. But again, a continuous reminder on how strong the price of XRP has held. So remember, usually 11% move for Bitcoin to reach an all-time high. Let's say Bitcoin were to reach an all-time high and dominance, pushes towards the downside. Expect, I think, double of that. Again, historically speaking, that means, you would tend to see altcoins performing much better. So let's say, XRP were to go up, let's just say 15%. We're just being generous here. That puts XRP's price closer, like literally on the neckline of the 23.6 fib resistance. And I'm anticipating that to be retested much quicker than a lot of people realize, but we got to take it one step at a time. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about what I've shared. Love you all. See you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.